All right. So that's on. I wonder why I can't share this. Maybe because... Okay, everything seems to be okay on the settings.
Thank you.
All right, let's do this. How Hyundai do daso. Swatka Polska, Hakeduse. Can you see my page? It says Skanikulat on there.
Ha.
No. So
I think this is it. Can you just shut it if this is it?
Yeah.
I think it's it.
Going home.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Ann. Yeah.
all right, so we're gonna get started. So I'm just gonna ask everybody to mute their mics. All right. So again, this evening's class is brought to you by Skanikulat. And I'm gonna turn this I forgot how to do that again. Oh, maybe it's that. No, I don't think it's that. It's probably this. There we go. All right, that's better. And of course, we always go through this Zoom guidelines, Zoom etiquette. So we're in this learning environment to learn about Oneida language. Tonight, we're going to be talking about gardening and things to do with planting, and also we're going to hear some seed songs. And so let's get started. I asked you guys to drop a line in the chat about what you learned from last time, which is kind of the same as what common phrases do you recall from last class? And then how has your language learning been going? Have you been able to add some of the common phrases to your daily routine? So those are some of the things we'd like comments on in the chat when you get a chance. So let's talk about this moon that we're just started. We just started. Yeyantos Nihuani Dalot, or you could say Nihuanida. Yeyantos Nihuanida. Or some people say Lariantos Nihuanida. So we're talking about a moon or a month. So this is the name for the month of May. Yeyantos Nega Duhe, someone or she is planting. Ladiantos Nega Duhe, they, a mixed group of males and females, more than 3, are planting. And this slide just talks a little bit about some of the cultural meanings behind this Yeyantos Nihohnida. So here we have a short tobacco offering speech that you can use when you're planting, or even if you intend to go foraging for some of the medicines that are popping up right now. I believe that this tobacco offering speech comes from a booklet that was documented by Bob Brown and Cliff Abbott back in 1995. And so I'm just going to read through this for you guys to hear it, and since this is recording, you'll get a recording of it, so don't worry about, only getting one chance to hear it or whatever. Alright, so I'm gonna start this top line. Hanatoni wanisloda, ne tkaili watektan. Jinu gaya gaiga hawahit, ne wa guyunk waslolyete, ne hagagweni angunyahes. Jitnate zatstanslai. Hona wa guyunk waslolyete, ne hoseatagenha. Hongwe. Daneto neotuhak hongwat nigul. So this is just one way you can go about saying a little Thanksgiving before you harvest something or before you plant something. And if you're harvesting something, it is said that you find the most nicest one, whatever that is that you're harvesting. In this case, I just inserted the name Hawahit. So Hawahit Neganduhe strawberry. And so you'd find like the best one that you're looking for. Uh, and then you put your tobacco, you offer your tobacco to it right there. And then you can go pick elsewhere in the strawberry patch where you had found. Or if you're picking some other kind of medicine, it's the same way. Um, if you find the most healthiest looking one or the best one, then you put your tobacco down there, and then you go off and you find some other ones, and it just helps with the regrowth and the cycles of life and the plant life. So there was a couple changes I wanted to offer here in this tobacco speech, this tobacco offering speech. You might have noticed when I got to this word, I said what Dick done. I didn't say what Duck done. So um some of you may know that different speakers have their preferences of how to say things. Different families have different histories of language change. And so for myself, the way I've experienced my teaching and my learning of our languages, I will say what Dick done, which means I stood up. I'm standing. If I wanted to say I'm standing like right now, I'd say they walk down. But I'm just giving you an example of how I would say this word, what Dick done. And so then also I want to offer a different word here because this one is kind of hard to pronounce because of this part right here, this LYE combination. Well, actually paired with this whole part right here is particularly challenging for beginners. And so I wanted to offer another way to say exactly what this meaning is. I give you an offering of tobacco. There's another way to say it that I've learned, so I want to share that with you, and I'll also put that in the chat this evening. So, um, since if you can imagine yourself standing wherever it is you're going to offer the tobacco, you can say hongwa or hongu. Hongwa yunkwayahaze. Hongwa yunkwayahaze. Hongwa yunkwayahaze. Which also means I'm going to offer all of you tobacco like I'm placing it down on the earth. And so I just wanted to offer that change and also to offer, let's see, where else was I thinking to? This part right here, which says Hungwe, that's the word for a person. You could add a plural sound to the end of this word and make it sound like Hungwe Hogu, which would mean people as in more than one. So this sentence could say Ne Hosea Degenha Hungwe Hogu. So you will help the people. And this you is it means the plant life that you're talking to in this speech. And then here, this very last line, Daneto or Dato no Yuduhak. This right here, this Y, it shouldn't really be there because Hongwa, just without the Y, Hongwa is the prefix that means our mind. It means ours, really. And then this part is the mind. But quite often people hear this as Yungwa, and it's actually Hongwa. It's easy to, um, I guess, hear it as Yungwa because our ears aren't really attuned to listening to Oneida language just because we don't have a lot of exposure to it anymore unless we're listening to a lot of recordings. So, does anybody have a question about this speech or this slide? You can just holler, or let me see. If you want, you can raise your hand too. I guess I can switch my screen so I can see people's hands. If you have a question.
I have a question. I was wondering, is the speech really can be used for planting too, or is it really like for harvesting?
It can be used for planting too.
Oh, Yahweh.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put that word that I said, Hongwa Yunkwa Yahaze, in the chat right now. Oops, if I can type, then I'll put it in there. Hongwa Yunkwa Yahaze, which means I will offer, place down tobacco for all of you. Or you could also say Hongu Yunkwa Yahaze, which I will also type there. Hongu Yunkwa Yahaze. So then just if you say Hongu Yunkwa Yahaze, you're just saying I will offer or place down tobacco for you, as in just one individual. All right, so that's in the chat for you. And so let's move on if nobody has any other question. As you get more vocabulary, you can add actions, different actions to this little speech by saying what you're going to plant or what you're planning to harvest. You can actually put the harvest word in there too, or the picking word, either way. You can even provide more details about what you intend for that medicine to do for you or your loved ones. If you know, like the qualities, I guess, of the medicine and what it can be used for. You can add that in there too. So, we also wanted to offer you some garden phrases, things you would need to say if you were gardening. And so we'll go through this list here one by one on the Oneida side. The first one we have here is Honagwala Dioses. Honagwala Dioses. Honagwala Dioses. So that one means rubber boots. Then our next one here, Hatsok. Hatsokda. Hatsok. Hatsokda. Neganduhe. A ho. Netona. So then next, Uneglalokda. Uneglalokda. Uneglalok. Neganduhe rake. I think I said that one. I missed one of the lows. Uneglalolokda. There, that's better. Uneglalolokda. Uneglalolokt. Neganduhe rake. Hatnyana. 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 Neganduhe glove. Yunkwatsta. Yunkwatst. Yunkwatsta. Yunkwatst. Negandu shovel. Zakahlalolok. 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 So this is a command that means you're telling somebody to gather the dirt. Netona junt. 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 Negandu plant it. So then you're telling somebody directly, plant it. Netona zeholok. 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 Negandu cover it. So that's another command. Then the next one, Netona zanegloch. 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 Negandu weed. So you're telling somebody to pull the weeds, basically. Netona skalhat. 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 Neganduhe plow it. Or else it also means turn it over. But when you're plowing, you're turning the earth over. So that's what that one means. Does anybody have any questions about this slide? All right.
I had a
It's
question.
time. Oh, go
Sorry.
ahead.
So that last word for like turn it over, does that only apply to planting and harvesting, or can it be used when you like turning any object over?
It can be used when you're turning any object over, like even if you're flipping an egg, if you're frying an egg,
Okay.
and say skull. And
Anyway.
yep, yep. All right, let's go on to this next slide. So this next one includes some names of the plants, particularly ones you might grow in your garden. So this is let's see. Ne jojilantu. So the first one, hoyunkwaun, hoyunkwaunwe, ne ganduhe tobacco. So this is our original tobacco. So these are seeds that are come from the sky world and sky woman. It's our original tobacco. Hoyunkwaunwe. So this ending sound right here tells us that that's what it is. It's pure original. If this ending wasn't here, hoyungwa, it's just, I guess, the kind of tobacco that we would find in a cigarette or in a, rolling tobacco. Netona, gaigan, hogun satsu. I'm on this line right here. Hogun satsuha, hogun satsu. Neganduhe sunflowers. There's also another word for sunflower, which is this one right here. Hogushunda. 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 You might notice that hogus is a sound that's in both of these words. Hongusa neganduhe, a face. So this, because the sunflower is so big, it has those kind of qualities. I think that's why this word is chosen to describe a sunflower. Netuna honust, honuste, honust, honuste, negandu corn. And I think there's just typo. This should be an E right here. Netuna hozaheda, 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 hozahed, negandu bean. Honu uzli, honu uzli, honu uze, negandu squash. Hohiotsli, hohiotsli, hohiotse, negandu string bean. Hojinkwa, hote, hojinkwa, hote, hojinkwa, hotela, negandu carrot. Hohnanad, hohnanad, hohnanada, negandu potato. Kale hanuk, 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 negandu he onion. Does anybody have any questions about these words here?
Yeah, that quick question.
Go ahead.
For the last one, it sounded like we're pronouncing more of the K sounds. Is that because it's at the end of the word or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good question. Yane.
Ooh, what is potatoes? Potato plural.
So we have a couple different pluralizing ending sounds. So this one up here is one of those, suha or su. And so that's what would be at the end of this word if it were to mean potatoes. And so then it would sound like ho nana da su, ho nana da suha. Yoyane, good question. All right, let's move on to the next slide. So here's some more plant names to go along with this little graphic picture we have here. So traditionally, we grow the three sisters, which is corn, beans, and squash, in a little mound of dirt. And so up here, our first word is yonunde, yonunde, which means a little mound. Yonunde. And then since they're all growing together eventually, this word sounds like yoduni hadi, yoduni hadi, yoduni hadi. And then finally, to tell somebody to water it, you can say snake, sneganunt, sneganunt, sneganunt. Give it some water, water it. And so over here, there's some labels on the mound, and I wanted to just mention a little bit about this planting method here. So it said that the way that we plant the Three Sisters mound is that first we plant the whole nust. So when you're planting in the mound, there's actually like a little bowl that's kind of hollowed out right here. And you can plant your corn seeds in there. And the way we've done it is we planted a couple of corn seeds in each of the 4 directions on the very top of the mound in that little bowl type thing, which helps the water absorption. So then after the corn has grown so high, maybe, I don't know, a foot maybe, then these beans can be planted and the squash planted grows. It should be growing around the mound to protect it. So these are pole beans so that when the corn grows and as the corn is growing, it can crawl up the corn stalk, and they all 3 work together to give each other nutrients to grow. Does anybody have any questions about this slide?
Ooh, one.
Go ahead.
So after corn grows a foot, then beans, do squash go in as the same time as beans? Or do beans also need a head start? Or do squash go before the bean? Sorry, I missed the last part.
I'm just thinking how we done it before in the past. I think that the squash can go in at the same time as the corn. That because the squash is the like protector of the mound, it protects it from, I don't know, critters. That because a squash vine is kind of pokey, like it has little pokey hairs all over it, which kind of deter critters from disturbing the mound. Does that make sense? I know we have some gardeners on our class in our class tonight. So if you have any experience you want to share, then go ahead.
I think that also that the squash, they take a longer time to grow. So I think they take a little, we put them in the same time as the corn. At least I did. And
Yeah.
it takes them a while.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I forgot about that. I haven't grown Three Sisters in a long time. Like personally anyway.
That's
Haven't
where I'm at right now. I'm a garden manager at my museum in Evanston, and I'm adapting like traditional gardening practices for different like native communities in like the Woodlands region. And so right now I just built some beds, but I'm doing like mini Three Sisters. So I have like the popcorn corn, pigeon beans, and then I got gifted Menominee squash because they're like the little patty pans. It's like a common name for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just prepped my mini mounds. I'm trying to figure out how it's gonna go. So this really helps a lot.
They're yummy. Good one. Those mini mounds sound so cute.
I'll send pictures.
All right. Sounds good. They're yummy.
I was wondering, do you put the squash seeds around the outside of the mound or is it all inside the mound?
When I did it, I put them like inside the mound, but not
Oh,
too far inside the mound. And
like
maybe
the outside?
maybe some people do put them around the outside. But like if this was my mound, I, would plant it in around here. And
Mm.
again, I think we planted them in 4 directions, so there was a
Mm.
squash plant on each direction.
And the
Almost
beans too?
bottom. You know what? I think
Or
so.
just
I think so because the beans we planted right sort of near where the corn had sprouted up.
mm.
So when they grow, they're close to the corn, so they can just grow right up the stalk.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did you ever get like multiple stalks growing because you planted in the 4 directions, or is it mostly
Yeah.
just one comes out
No, multiple.
in the same mound?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. I never grew corn before, but I think we're gonna have they're gonna do some Three Sisters down here in Dallas where I live now. Um
Nice.
yeah, they do, some of the tribes down here do it too. And they got a community garden now this year. So we're gonna have some going. So
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
for sharing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's move on to this next slide. So parts of the plant. So here we have some vocabulary to describe parts of the plant. And there's a nice picture right here to help us along. So I'll just start up at the top. Gana, gana he. Gana, gana he. Ne gandu seed. So if you want to pluralize this and make it seeds, there's one little change that happens in the sound, I think. So this would sound like ganaha su, ganaha suha. So that suha ending gets put on there, but then this e changes to a sound. Ganaha su. Netona hohund hohunde ne gandu a plant, or could also mean a sapling, a sprout, a vine. Hohunde. I've also heard it with a caret right here instead of the U. Hohunde. Hohunde. Netona hotnits. Hotnitsta. Hotnits. Hotnitsta. Ne gandu stem. Netona hondlat, hondlat, hondlatte, negandu leaf. Netona hotel, hotela, hotel, negandu root. Netona hojija, 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 negandu flower. Netona honhat, honhat, honhatte, negandu branch. Netona hohwagist, hohwagist, hohwagiste, negandu bark. Netona honunquat, 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 negandu medicine. Netona haslok, 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 negandu thorn. Netona hokgal, hokgala, hokgal, hokgala, negandu dirt, dust, soil, ashes. Kale gahandage, gahandag, gahandage, gahandage, negandu in the garden, datuni in the field. Does anybody have a question about this slide? A lot of these you can make plural by adding that suha ending, like this one, for instance. Hojija, suha. Hoji.
Are,
Go ahead.
sorry, are corn, beans, and squash already plural, or would you have to add the plural onto those too?
You can add the plural, hozahe da suha. Hozahe da su is beans.
Okay.
And hona uzli su. Honu uzli suha, squashes. But I think honest is kind of plural, as I never heard anybody say honaste suha. Unless they were talking about a whole bunch of different varieties of corn instead of one. And if you ever get a chance to look at the Oneida Dictionary by Mercy Dockstader, there's a ton of words that are used with corn. And there's also different names for corn too. Maybe we could send that in one of the emails, because like there's dry corn, roasted corn, there's all kinds of different names for corn, which is interesting, I think, because it's such a big staple, food staple for us. So maybe I'll have that sent on the email too.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So the last word, let me know if I'm saying this wrong. Gahondag or gahondage. What is the difference when you add or omit the ending?
That's a good question, because this word and this ending, this ake can refer to on or in something. And so a good example is if I said ganadage, ganadage. that means in town. And so gahandage is in the garden or on the field or in the meadow. But it's interesting because gahanda isn't really a word by itself without some kind of suffix or ending sound. Like if I said tkahandaya, tkahandai, I'm saying there's a garden or field or meadow there. So I think that's a really good question because if I'm just wanted to say the word garden, like in English, we're thinking, oh, a garden. But in our language, we have to say gahandage for if we want to talk about the garden. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm following you, but I don't know if you really answered my question. Gahandag and then gahandage, what is the difference?
Oh, okay. So gahandage is when there's a word following it. So this is a whispered ending. So if you were talking about gahandage and there was a word following it, then you'd say the full word. If you're just
Okay.
saying gahandag, you're just saying the word for garden, but without a word coming after it, then we don't have to voice the ending. And there's no difference in meaning. Does that help?
Okay. Yes.
All right. Here you go now. All right, let's see what we got next. Okay, so here's a short little list of the parts of corn. So the parts of a corn stalk. And we have a nice graphic here to help us along with labels and things. All right, so up here, Jojilantu. So first, Galuhungot. Galuhungote is the corn tassel top. Daduni, or else you could say Yotsagandao. Yotsagandawe. Yotsagandao. Yotsagandawe. Yotsagandao. Netona yoglot. Yoglot. Yoglote. Negandu corn silk. Kalehonast, which we've gone over that word. Honaste. And we've seen this word too already. Hote. Hotela. This is a new one for us on this slideshow. Hohale. Hoheli. Hoheli. Hohale. Cornstalk. Hoask. Hoaska. Hoask. Negandu corn husk. And this one we've had before too on our slideshow today. Hokan. Hokanla. Does anybody have any questions about this list of little, it's a shorter list than the other ones we went through.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
For the corn tassel top, it would seem like the one with the prefix yo would be more appropriate because it's one of the three sisters. Is that true? Or the other one starts with ga?
The sounds in the beginning, ga or yo, they basically mean the same thing. It's
Mhm.
it's a she or it pronoun. And so either one, I think it's pretty much a speaker preference of which one to choose from to use, because both are correct.
No way.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the next one as time is running out. Okay, so when we plant our garden and all through the time that it's growing, there's something called seed songs, and we can also hear them at our seed ceremony that happens in Longhouse this month sometime. And so we have provided a breakdown here of a couple of seed songs. And so I just want to explain these next two slides a little bit. So, Ganahe Nigalanodos is a way to say a seed, the kind of songs it is. And Johandu is referring to like the verse that goes first. And so when I play these songs for you, you'll understand because there's like an intro part where this phrase or sounds wahohiane is repeated, and then you'll hear a change in the rattle that's being used. And when you hear that change, that's when hagweg, so that means everyone who's ever singing them, they join in together and everyone will sing. So primarily the leader will start, and then the ones who are going to sing together will follow, if that makes sense. But I just realized there's not the recording that I have is only one person, but in ceremony times there's a lead, and then the people follow who are singing, well, singing along with them. And so this seed song, the seed songs are introduced by giving like an introductory like Thanksgiving, a little Thanksgiving speech, a few words of thanks, I guess I would say. And it's like a personal Thanksgiving, giving thanks to Junhekwa, which is the life sustainers, meaning the three sisters and all the foods that we grow in the garden. And I'm not quite sure the translation of these vocables, wahohiane, for this song anyway. But I will play it for you guys. I was gonna try to sing it, but my throat's kind of dry. So what I'm gonna play for you first, though, is that little personal Thanksgiving. And this is gonna be recorded so you can hear it. And so I'm not quite sure of the gal's name, but I think I'm not sure who it is actually, but I could find out. Anyway, so I'm gonna play this short Thanksgiving for you, and then this seed song, and you'll hear how it goes. So here we go, is the personal Thanksgiving. Nega iga wadis lade oskana ganyo donyo ona de yadi wanongot junhek ne wat gana haladu junhek kalik gadoga ni undehnigo lok tahage ohondun gwa wayong wadanis ladin wandi dale tonya tahage yung go. Could you guys hear that okay?
Yeah.
Do you want me to play it again?
Yeah,
Oh. I can play it again. I mean, even though this session is being recorded, it's always nice to hear it again. And maybe in a future class we can actually break it down and we'll transcribe it for you. All right, here we go. Nega iga wadis lade oskana ganyo donyo ona de yadi banongot John Heck ne what gonna haladu John Heck kalit kadoga ni undihni go bahage uhundunu ba wayong wadanis ladinoni dane tonya tahage yung go. Okay, that's an example of a short Thanksgiving to introduce these seed songs. And so I think this one here is this track number 6, but let's listen. So these are these recordings that I'm playing for you. They were made for teaching and for learning. It's to help people learn these songs. And so I'm not quite sure how long or how many verses or how many repetitions a person would do when singing this song, but I for sure know that it's longer than 24 seconds, which is how long that song took. And so I'll play it again for you. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about that song or the personal Thanksgiving? I'm going to go over a little bit past 8 o'clock for this, but that's okay. So we have one other seed song that we wanted to share on tonight's class. And so this one I can tell you what it means. So ganahio means a good seed. You can see up here and here ganahe, and you can see it right here too. Ganahio, this ending sound makes whatever noun root is right here good. Ganahe ni galano danse. So this one, ganahio, is repeated. Oops, sorry. Ganahio is repeated 3 times, and then ganahe is just what it's saying. It's a seed. So it's a good seed. It's a good seed. It's a good seed. The seed. And so then again, it follows this format of a leader. And then in a group where there's more than one person singing, then the group would join in after. So then let's hear this one, and then you can hear how the melody goes. If my computer iTunes will cooperate. So you may have heard a different word here, which would have been like maybe here it would have been. So my recording of that seed song doesn't match this slide, but that's okay. You can kind of hear the melody and the placement of the words. So let's hear it one more time. So there's an example of that one. And does anybody have any questions about that song or any of the slides that we have? I think it's the one who's recorded this for teaching. It's one of two people. I think it's Yehowie Ninham or Charlotte Elijah. I can't remember. I'll find out though, so we can give credit where that's due for them helping us. Does somebody have a question? Well, that was like the last slide. So, if you want to answer these two questions, you can drop it in the chat. Or if you have any questions other than the topic of what's in this slideshow tonight, then it's open for questions now.
I have a
Oh,
question.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm still stuck on the thorn, the word for thorn. And I just want to, I don't know. Who knows if this situation will ever arise, but if the scenario were to ever happen, I would just like to be prepared to exclaim it in Oneida. Is there a way to say, there's a thorn in my ass?
So you'd have to use like two words. So honatsa is a butt or your. And so you have to change that word to mean mine. And then you also have to add an ending that means in. So that hage ending that we talked about earlier when we were talking about in the garden.
I love this. Thank you.
And so we have to talk about our body parts. And so that's a thing. And we should know those, or at least get familiar with those. So honatsa is one word that we can use that means ass or butt or buttocks or butt cheeks or whatever. And then so the way you would do it though, you would say like you could probably say either Haslok and then the in my butt word, or you could say in my butt ne Haslok. So it's kind of up to you or the speaker of those of how you wanted to arrange those. But so to give you some examples, and I will put this in the chat so that you can know the spelling because that's important. And so I said honatsa is a but. It could mean other things too, but just for now. So when I want to change that to say mine,
What's
my,
can it mean?
huh?
What's can it mean? You can't just say
But
that and not say what else it can't mean.
so, well, the other is it means buttock, butt, behind, or even a small stool. So, but if you're using it for this sentence, then there's no mistaking that this is what it means my butt.
But like if you like pooed a small stool and there was a thorn in it,
Oh, I don't know about that.
okay, that's valid. I'm not gonna make you try to figure that out.
It I mean, of course we have words for all the things that we need to know about. Um and so it I guess just socialized around the English language, like people may feel some kind of way about talking about it, but you really shouldn't because it's natural, right?
And it's silly and I like it. It's fun.
So let's see. Knut. You have to say knatchine ne hazlok.
Come on, she name. What was the last part again?
Ne
Name
hazlok.
Oslo in my cheeks. A thorn.
So, yeah, there's a thorn in my butt. There. Or if you wanted to change it to there's a thorn in your butt, then you just say snatchine
It's not
instead of knatchine.
I love this.
So I'm gonna put that in the chat too so you can see it.
Okay, one more. You're a thorn in my butt.
I wouldn't know how to say that.
Okay.
I guess the behavior of somebody like that, being like demanding or whatever. We do have a word for somebody's being demanding. But it wouldn't like have the same connotation as having a thorn in their butt or somebody's a thorn in somebody's butt. Oh, this is awesome. Oops, I spelled that wrong. There. And so, let's see. Well, if someone's being difficult, you can just you can say zundol. Zundol means like you're being difficult or demanding or hard to please. Or you can say dagang zundol, don't be demanding. Or something like that. All right, so does anybody else have any other questions? So I just want to say yawanko to everybody for yawanko jitwe zagedo. Yawanko jitwe swagedo. So thanks for showing up. I think we had again we have been having consistently over 20 people in class, which is awesome. Jitni yone lagwatig. It's really awesome. So I just want to thank everybody for coming and keep coming to class. We're going to have some more fun times ahead.
Yuango,
Yo,
Nagiwa.
Nagiwa. Swasundio hak swagwag.
We'll see you.
Wow.
Yonzo. Smudge
Yo.
set. Bye.
Lagi mga dagos.